The blessing of God hurries to reward the just man, and in a fleeting hour his advancement bears fruit. A journey of blessing and joy undertaken by His Holiness Pope Tawadros II in the period from the 10th to the 17th of October 2023 to the Diocese of Milan. It was a visit full of service, preceded by the Lord's blessing, making it joyful, busy and fruitful. The journey began on Tuesday the 10th of October by the arrival of His Holiness in Malpensa International Airport in Milan, to begin his pastoral visit to Milan and Venice, Italy. Accompanying His Holiness during his visit was a delegation consisting of His Eminence Anba Daniel, Metropolitan of Maedi and Secretary of the Holy Synod, Anba Gabriel, Bishop of Beni Suef, Anba Iulius, General Bishop of Old Cairo and the Bishopric of Services, and the monk Father Kyrillos Anba Bshoi, head of the Papal Office. His Holiness was received at the airport by Ambassador Manel Abdeldaim, Consul General in Milan, representatives from the Egyptian Consulate, His Grace Anba Antonio, Bishop of Milan and Abbot of the Monastery of Amba Shnoda, the Archimandrite in Milan, His Grace Amba Loa, Bishop of the French sector of Switzerland and southern France, and a number of priests from the diocese. After arriving in the monastery of Amba Shnoda in Milan and visiting the shrine of the departed His Eminence Metropolitan Kyrillos, came the first activity of His Holiness, a meeting with the priests of the Diocese of Milan and their wives. He spoke with them about the topic of longing for God and answered their questions. The second day of the visit, Wednesday the 11th of October 2023, witnessed official and public meetings where His Holiness received Monsignor Franco Ajanci, Deputy Archbishop of Milan, accompanied by a delegation from the Catholic Church. It was a friendly meeting in which the spirit of fraternal love that linked the Coptic and Catholic churches prevailed. The Catholic delegation presented a gift to His Holiness of the relics of a group of saints, St. Augustine, St. Ambrose and St. Buctor. This was followed by His Holiness's reception of Ambassador Manel Abdeldaim, Consul General of Egypt in Milan, accompanied by Consul Ahmed El-Bakli, Deputy Consul General, Consul Mahmoud El-Touhi, Consul Ahmed Munir, and Mr. Sabri Shukri, Public Relations Representative at the Consulate. A friendly dialogue took place during the meeting, which included praising the role of the Egyptian community in performing its national duties, especially the Copts of Milan and their priests. His Holiness emphasized that the national duty is an obligation for every Egyptian. His Holiness Pope Tawadros II also held a paternal meeting with a group with special needs from the people of the Diocese of Milan. He spoke with them and asked about each of their circumstances. They took commemorative photos with His Holiness, capturing this friendly atmosphere. The second public meeting came this evening when His Holiness held the weekly Wednesday meeting at the monastery of St. Amba Shnoda the Archimandrite in Milan. The meeting witnessed a large audience from the congregation of the Diocese of Milan, who gathered around their father and shepherd to hear his speech. His Holiness spoke about meekness to the Honourable as part of a series of reflections on the litanies of the Gregorian liturgy which he has been reflecting on in his Wednesday meetings during the past weeks.
الفضلاء تنطبق على أي إنسان في أي مسؤولية، بس الذي يعيش حياة الفضيلة. وكل إنسان مسيحي بيبتدي يومه بيكون صورة للمسيح في كل مكان يحل فيه. ليه؟ لأن المسيح في يوم من الأيام قال لنا كلنا أنتم ملح الأرض. يعني أنت لما تخرج من بيتك اعرف أن أنت ملح للأرض بمعناها الروحي. وقال لنا كمان أنتم نور العالم بمعناها الروحي. وقال لنا كمان الكتاب المقدس أنتم رائحة المسيح الزكية. ريحة المسيح. عارف لما تمسك حاجة كده وتقول دي من ريحة أبويا أو من ريحة جدي؟ كل إنسان فيكم هو رائحة المسيح الزكي.
After the meeting ended, His Holiness was keen to bless the people present and shook hands with them one by one, giving each of them a memorial gift. There were two main events on Thursday the 12th of October 2023. The day began by His Holiness unveiling the memorial plaque upon his arrival at the church, which dated its consecration. The church's main altar was consecrated in the name of the Virgin Mary and Saint Joseph of Arimathea, the northern altar in the name of Saint Veronica, and the southern altar in the name of Saint John the Beloved. The icon of the Pantocrator and the icons of the iconostasis were also consecrated. The baptismal font was consecrated in the name of Saint John the Baptist. The church attached to the main church, which bears the name of the Church of the Heavenly, was also consecrated, along with its altar, the icon of the Pantocrator, and the icons of the iconostasis. The Divine Liturgy prayers then began, during which His Holiness baptized 6 children from the Diocese of Milan. In the liturgy sermon, His Holiness introduced the members of the accompanying delegation and His Grace Anne Baloa, adding, "We are all in the hospitality of Bishop Antonio. We will never forget the founder of the diocese, Amba Carolus, who is now rejoicing over you in heaven."
فرحانين ويا فرحة نيافة أنبا أنطونيو بتعمير الكنيسة وبتدشينها وتعيش وتعمر وتعمل حاجات حلوة وتعيشوا وتفرحوا وتسلموا ولادكم باستمرار. الكنيسة كنيستكم القبطية كنيسة مستقيمة وقوية وكنيسة حية.
His Holiness then addressed the readings of the liturgy, which was the first of the Coptic month of Beba. The subject of the Gospel was the parable of the wise and foolish virgins.
امسك في الكنيسة. الكنيسة حضن كبير بيجمعنا كلنا. امسك في الكنيسة في الأسرار، سر التوبة وسر التناول، في الحياة الكنسية، في اجتماعاتنا، في قداساتنا، في عشياتنا، في الاجتماعات التعليمية بصفة عامة. امسك في الكنيسة. الكنيسة دايما يشبهوها على شكل مركب ماشية في وسط البحر. جوه المركب في خلاص، بره المركب في هلاك. فاحنا مدام جوه المركب احنا عايشين في نعمة الخلاص.
As for the second event, it was an educational and paternal meeting which took place in the evening, during which His Holiness met with the servants of the Diocese of Milan and spoke to them about the service.
حط قدامك الآية الجميلة اللي بتقولها أنا معكم كل الأيام وانقضاء الظهر. المسيح وياه النهاردة الخميس وبكرة الجمعة وامبارح الأربع وهكذا. والمسيح ضابط الكل. ولأنه ضابط الكل هو الذي يقود حياة البشر، وما زال المسيح هو سيد الكل وسيد التاريخ.
After the talk, His Holiness answered the servants' questions before ending the meeting with a closing prayer and blessing. On Friday the 13th of October 2023, which was the fourth day of the visit, His Holiness held a meeting with the youth of the Diocese of Milan at the Church of the Annunciation in the city of Paderno. Along with the delegation accompanying His Holiness, the meeting was attended by a large number of priests and monks of the diocese. The meeting was also attended by the Governor of Paderno, who delivered a loving speech before the start of the talk by His Holiness. Pope Tawadros' talk was also preceded by the youth choir of the diocese, presenting a group of church hymns and praises. The meeting was attended by nearly 1,000 young men and women. His Holiness spoke about the topic of renewal, highlighting some Christian principles related to this topic.
لا تشكلوا هذا الظهر. ما تاخدش شكل كل حاجة في الدنيا اللي موجود انت فيها، بل تغيروا عن شكلكم بتجديد أذهانكم. خلي ذهنك مجدد، والذهن يتجدد من خلال الإنجيل. الإنجيل هو اللي يخلي ذهنك دايما جديد وصح وحلو ومنور، لتختبروا ما هي إرادة الله الصالحة المرضية الكاملة. العبارة الصغيرة اللي قالها بولس الرسول دي قالها لأهل روميا، وبيقولها لنا النهاردة. إزاي الإنسان فينا حياته تبقى حياة صح، وإزاي أنت شاب تبني حياتك. كنت 20 سنة، بقيت 21، بقيت 22، عمال تبني بناء صح. لو كان البناء الشبابي تعبان هيبقى زي الأساس التعبان، تطلع الأعمار اللي فوق تلاقي إنسان ما هوش فاهم وجوده في الدنيا لازمته إيه. عشان كده حطوا قدامكم الآية الجميلة اللي قالها لنا سليمان الحكيم: اذكر خالقك في أيام شبابك. اذكر خالقك في أيام شبابك. وقديس الأنبا بخوميوس أب الشركة له عبارة جميلة قوي، يقول: ما تصنع في شبابك سيرد الله لك في كبرك.
He concluded with moving words addressed to the youth. I love you, and I love your love for the Church. Your roots are Egyptian, and you live in a European country with advanced ideas that have made you distinguished young people. And I want to tell you that since I became Pope, this is the first time that I have met twice with a group of youth in the space of 5 months.
فمحبتكم كبيرة وجذابة، محبة أنبا أنطونيو محبة جميلة وحلوة، وانتم كشباب حلوين، وأنا لكم كلكم أنا بحبكم كلكم.
His Holiness gave a memorial gift to each of the youth. He took commemorative photos with them and blessed them. On the morning of Saturday the 14th of October 2023, the fifth day of the visit, His Holiness Pope Tawadros II left Milan, arriving in Venice in the afternoon. Upon his arrival, His Holiness inaugurated the Cathedral of Saint Mark the Apostle in Venice, whose land bears the relics of the patron saint of Egypt. Those present were the delegation accompanying His Holiness, 10 bishops of the Diocese of the Coptic Church in Europe, some priests, and a number of Copts from Venice and Milan. Children presented a bouquet of flowers to His Holiness to welcome his arrival. The bells of the cathedral rang joyfully, as per the Church's custom in welcoming the Patriarch. His Holiness unveiled the commemorative plaque marking its inauguration and consecration. Pope Tawadros opened the doors of the cathedral amidst the chanting of the church hymn Chenevron. In the evening, Pope Tawadros prayed Vespers in the cathedral, in the presence of a large congregation who filled the cathedral. Patriarch Francesco Moraglia, Patriarch of Venice, delivered a loving speech in which he offered his congratulations to His Holiness. He also gifted Pope Tawadros with a part of the relics of Saint Patriarch Inienus the Cobbler, the second among the patriarchs of Alexandria. The concluding speech was delivered by His Holiness Pope Tawadros II, at the beginning of which he said, "It is a day of joy that we celebrate on the Holy Land that bears the body of Saint Mark, who was the first patriarch and was martyred in the year 68 AD. He added, "Saint Inienus is considered the second patriarch in the Church, and from here we know that the Church extends over time." On the same day, in his residence in Venice, Pope Tawadros received Patriarch Francesco Moraglia, Patriarch of Venice. His Holiness also received His Grace Anba Berneba, Bishop of Turin in Rome, and His Grace Anba Arseni, Bishop of the Netherlands. The bishops presented a report to His Holiness about the monastery of Saint Anthony in Kreifelbach, South Germany, which they are currently supervising. On Sunday, the 15th of October 2023, the sixth day of the visit, with all joy, His Holiness Pope Tawadros II consecrated the Cathedral of Saint Mark the Apostle in Venice, which he had inaugurated the previous day. His Holiness explained that the cathedral has become the headquarters of the Coptic Orthodox Patriarchate in Europe. His Eminence Amba Daniel, Metropolitan of Maedi and Secretary of the Holy Synod, and 13 bishops of the Holy Synod participated in the consecration prayers and the liturgy that followed. Priests from Egypt, Central Europe, London, Austria, and Milan also participated in the prayers. The main altar was consecrated in the name of Saint Mark the Apostle, the northern altar in the name of Saint Abba Shnoda the Archimandrite, and the southern altar in the name of Saint Amba Ibrahim, Bishop of Fayoum and Giza. The Pantocrator icon, the icon of Christ's baptism, the icons in the iconostasis, and the icons in the nave of the church were also consecrated. After the end of the consecration prayers, His Holiness explained the stages of the consecration rites.
آخر خطوة نعمل التدشين. كلمة تدشين يعني تقديس، وكلمة تقديس معناها تخصيص، فبقى المكان ده مخصص لرفع الذبيحة.
adding, "Today is the cathedral's birthday, 15th of October 2023, which is to be celebrated every year."
ويصير التاريخ، ودي حاجة مهمة تعرفوها، إن يوم 15 أكتوبر اللي هو يبقى 3 بابا. يوم الخميس كان 1، والجمعة 2، والسبت 3، يبقى النهاردة 4 بابا. يبقى ده العيد المحلي، عيد ميلاد الكنيسة.
During the liturgy, His Holiness baptized 3 children from Coptic families residing in Venice. In his sermon, His Holiness spoke about the Gospel reading of the first Sunday of Beba, healing the paralytic. Pope Tawadros focused on God's work in a person's life.
3 كلمات: قم واحمل سريرك وامشي. وكانت النتيجة إن هذا المفلوج قام ولف فرشته وحطها تحت باطه وخد بعضه ومشى. يمكن قبل أصحابه ال4 اللي فوق اللي ماسكين الحبال، قبل ما ينزلوا يلموا الحبال والحاجات دي كلها، ونال تمام الصحة. المهم في هذه المعجزة أمرين. الأمر الأول، لما رأى الله إيمانهم، فالإيمان يصنع المعجزات.
In the evening, the seminar for the bishops in Europe began under the chairmanship of His Holiness Pope Tawadros II, in the presence of the Secretariat of the Holy Synod. This took place at the Cathedral of St. Mark the Apostle in Venice. During its sessions, the topic of service of the Coptic Church in European countries was discussed. 2 sessions were held on Sunday evening. 11 bishops from the 14 dioceses of the Coptic Orthodox Church in Europe participated in the seminar, as 3 bishops gave their apologies for health reasons. The seminar sessions continued on Monday the 16th of October, which concluded the trip of Pope Tawadros. Tuesday the 17th of October 2023 was the final day of Pope Tawadros' visit. He met with the monks of the monastery of Saint Abashnoda the Archimandrite in Milan in the monastery itself. This was in the presence of the abbot of the monastery and Bishop of Milan, His Grace Anba Antonio, the delegation accompanying His Holiness, His Grace Anba Loa, Bishop of the French sector of Switzerland and southern France. His Holiness gave a spiritual talk to the monks, then answered their questions.
لما اتجمع ال3 دول قلت لك صوم عن العالم، وهي رهبنة الكفن موت، وهي الجماعة الرهبانية أو العيلة الرهبانية. وبنحط ال3 نزول قدامنا، إن الطاعة مفتاح البركة، وإن الفقر الاختياري اللي بيسند جهادة، وإن التبتل القلبي قبل التبتل الجسدي.
Following this, Pope Tawadros and his accompanying delegation left Malpensa International Airport on board an Egypt Air flight heading to the homeland. This was after an 8-day pastoral trip in Milan and Venice. He was seen off by VIPs in the airport: Ambassador Manel Abdeldaim, Consul General in Milan, Mr. Sabri Shukri, Public Relations Representative at the Consulate, His Grace Anba Antonio, Bishop of Milan, and His Grace Anba Loa, Bishop of the French sector of Switzerland and southern France, and monks of the monastery of Saint Abba Shnoda at Archimandrite in Milan.